We need to go. But I feel bad about just stopping where we were, but we have got to go. Okay, so this is our last one, I promise. But we need to just say goodbye on this one, because I hate to not end well, wrap up. So this is the time what I would like for you to also ask questions or share what you learned. Okay, it doesn't have to be from the Zoom, but maybe something you learned from the Facebook support group. Or if you're not a member, you may want to become a member, because I'm putting all kinds of materials there that would be good for administrators and teachers. So please, I'm going to go around the room because I want you to be featured. Tell me something you learned. Okay, Ria, what did you learn? I can't hear you, Ria. Are you talking? I can't hear you. Yeah, there you are. I still can't hear you. Is that me? Can anybody?
No audio for
okay, so it was not just me. Okay, so Ria, if you can come back in with audio. Yeah, I think you had muted. Okay, you need to unmute.
Doc, can I speak first, because I'm going to prepare the email that we're going to ask to you later.
Good. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, Doc, I just want to share or to tell everyone to prepare your FCE, the Foreign Credential Evaluation, as soon as possible. What I did is the teacher's course evaluation. It costs 200. I'll check here. I save it. Yeah. For teachers course evaluation, for 10 days business work, 10 days, right? The duration is $290. And if you want to urgent it, it costs $400.
Oh, that's too much.
And yeah, for 2 business days, maybe if you are excited, you need to pay $575. But based on my it's very expensive. And then based on my experience, ma'am, I use the Spantran for 10 days. At exactly 10 days, I received my evaluation.
Okay, but you have to also remember, and that's a good suggestion, Mike, but you have to remember that some sponsors are wanting you to do within 6 months. So you can't do it too early if you don't have a potential job offer, because you could be asked to do it again and waste money. So I would have to remember, some of them would want you to do it like fresh, like within 6 months. So if it's a year later, they'll ask you to do another one. So yeah, but that's a good reminder. So between the driving lesson and the TOEFL and then the credit evaluation, the transcript evaluation, that is such a good reminder. Thank you. Yeah. So anybody else who wants to say something that to remind people, or something you learned from the Zoom or from the Facebook support group, anything? Yeah, go ahead, Frederick.
Good morning once again, ma'am, and good evening, everybody. So it's my first time again to be invited here in the Zoom. Like what I mentioned a while ago, I'm here in Thailand, and then trying to find my luck to land a job in the USA, if I will be lucky. And my only question, Doc Merlina, is you just mentioned a while ago about the credentials, right? Right now I am on my last semesters on my doctorate degree. Would that it be counted if I will be land a job in the USA?
You have to have finished it. You cannot just be part of it. You have to have completely finished it. So you have to say in the transcript completed. Whatever.
How about Dr. Merlina? If I asked or if I requested from the university about stating that it's in the form of a official transcript of record, but it's stating there all the subjects that I accredited, or the subject that I credited, would that be okay, even though that is still not yet finished?
You have
because because I read or I heard some from other colleagues that already in the USA. Some of my classmates also in the USA. My classmate in the EDD program, they are also in the USA. And then what they advise me is I can also send my credential with the EDD format of the transcript in the schools that I would like to apply. And then they said that some of the school are accepting it.
Okay.
Is that
Well,
true?
maybe you're right. Maybe that is a school to school thing, you know, because the really schools here, at least in Arkansas that I know of, they have the power to accept whatever. You know, they don't have to, you know, not everybody's doing the same thing. It's going to be at the discretion of who's accepting it. In one of my administrator jobs, I was actually kind of assisting our superintendent. I was a curriculum director, and I was asking me to look at these accreditation. I mean, you know, whatever courses they have taken and whatever degree they have finished, and I was making like a spreadsheet for him, and that's what he
Because
asked me to do, is make sure that it's completed. That's what I remember.
because Doc Merlina, I just have one classmate.
Mhm.
He just flew to USA just only just last month.
Mhm.
And then he told me that his transcript of record is stating there he requested a transcript of record from the university where we are studying,
Mhm.
and then it was accepted.
Yeah.
And he is now in Florida.
Okay.
He's
Then
teaching in
Florida,
Florida
maybe
right
you have
now.
to remember we have 50 states and we have 50
Yeah.
different rules. So unless it's something from the feds, from the federal, like from the Washington, D.C., where everybody has to follow, the state has the power to make their own state rules.
I see.
So
I see. I
you're
see.
talking Florida, that's gonna be applying to Florida schools. So I'm
Okay, I
talking
see. I
Arkansas. I
see.
know a lot about the Arkansas just because I live
Okay, I see.
there.
I see.
Yeah. So
I
you're
see,
gonna
Doc.
have you need to do research on that. You know, always go,
Okay, Doc.
yeah, always go with your Department of Education in that state, because then you
Okay,
need
okay.
everything
Thank you
about the
very
rule.
much.
Yeah, yeah. But I would also email, like, whoever's gonna give you a job offer, tell them your situation and tell them the
Yes,
example
yes.
that you said, because especially if it's in the same state, because you could always, anytime
Yes.
that you do that,
And
you produce some kind of document to prove what you're saying.
yes.
Yeah.
And then also Doc, I just forgot to mention that I also had sent my documents in Maricopa, United or Unified School
Okay.
in what's called in Arizona.
Okay.
And then
A big
one
one.
of the principal, yeah, one of the principal there, he he emailed me, or
Mhm.
she emailed me, I see. Sorry, she emailed me, and then uh she is asking me if I already have a visa sponsor. But I said don't have yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you can answer to that, especially when you're being asked around May and June before July, I would say that I can get one, because you
Okay.
can get
Okay.
one, because you have a list. If you Google list of designated sponsors, and I think it's on the Facebook group, list of designated sponsors US, and then you can see those designated sponsors, and all you have to do is email them and say, hey, I already got a job offer, can I be in your program? You know, so that would make
Okay.
it
Okay.
easier. So you just should not say no, you should say yes, I can get one, because I have the
Yeah.
list of
Yeah.
designated sponsors. You know, but the
But
H-1B, if it's H-1B visa they're talking about, you need to say,
yeah.
you know, for H-1B visa, you know, the J-1 is now gone. So the only thing available is H-1B. And for H-1B, you need, the school will be your sponsor. And then if you need help, I have a mentor, Dr. McCullough from Arkansas, that she could guide you. She could help you with processing my papers. Because I think usually a question like that, Frederick, that means that they've never had any international student teachers. So that means they don't.
And then Doc Merlina is the other thing is she just also mentioned on her email that uh she will try to interview me on the second semester of this school year, but I'm a little worried that it might not be happen.
Not be happening. Well,
That
you have to,
uh,
we make plans and God laughs, because whatever God plans for you is going to happen. Okay, so so if it's meant for you, it's gonna happen, Frederick. Okay, I always
Yes,
believe
yes,
that
yes.
I make plans and really it's not in God's plan, it's not gonna happen. So if it's in God's plan, you're gonna get it. And a bunch of the school, they're pretty good with their words. If they say they're gonna want you to do it in the second semester, they're gonna do it. Not very many would just break their words. And so what I would do if I were you, I'd actually need to continue communicating with that
Yeah.
person. And that way
So
they will, they'll know you still and they know you're still on the hook, Yeah. Yeah. Don't let
so
them
so
forget you.
so it means Doc Merlina, you as the administrator, that there is at least 60 to 70% that they would interview me,
Yeah.
based on your experience.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I see.
If they said, I even have a school that, and this is Brinkley, where Maria is, they actually waited for this teacher a whole year. And they
I
promised
see.
her, they said, hey, we're going to hire you next year. And so we'll hold a spot for you. And they did. So she's here now. She's Maria's roommate.
I see,
Yeah.
I see,
So
I
they
see.
do, if they say that, they will, especially if they put that in writing, they put that on email or whatever. And
Actually, Doc, it's we had a constant communication. I had a constant communication with the principal, and she's a new principal in that school.
yeah.
And then when I look on their school profile, they just only have one Filipino teachers there that they hired,
Mhm.
but most on the Maricopa Unified School, they have a lot of teachers, Filipino teachers there. But on her school,
There's only one.
she just only have one.
Yeah. So what you can do is like continue communicating with this administrator, and you need to say, I noticed that you have one teacher, this would be a really good support for each other. If you hire me, because then we would get each other support. I always try to like sell yourself, without being too,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes. Thank
cheesy
you very
about it.
much, Dr. Merlina. This
Yeah.
this conversation, this discussion was very productive and
Good.
enlightenment for us to a future teachers be
Yeah.
in the USA. And thank you very much for your
Yeah.
support.
You're
And this is a
welcome. You're
yeah,
welcome.
this is a very big help for us.
Good. Good.
And especially for those teachers in the Philippines that trying to go lock
Yeah.
their future in abroad. This is a
Yeah.
very great help.
Yeah. Because
And this is a
yeah.
very good support group for us.
Well, thank you.
Even though even though I am here now in Thailand, but the the feeling is still different, because even though I'm teaching science in English as a medium instruction, I still need to speak in Thai,
Yeah.
in Thai language.
Which
That's
which is
why.
which is really make sure that in your interview you need to make sure you mention that you
Yes.
have the experience of teaching diverse students. For example,
Yes, Doc.
I have been in Thailand and I know the language, and to me that's a plus. That's a plus when somebody has an extra skill like that. To me, that's always a plus in my book, because there's
Actually,
something
Doc, I
else you can.
can I can read, and I can write some of the words in Thai. For example, this one at the back of my screen. This is
I was
this is
wondering
our
what it says.
school.
Uh-huh.
It's Rongrian Mariwitayana Kontrachasima.
Uh-huh. Okay,
That's
that's
why.
very good. That's so cool though. The writing to me is so cool. Yeah, I thank you for sharing that. You're talking about background. I changed my background because the other one was so dark. This one background is
This one,
actually
the
this called the Arkansas Razorback, and this is the
oh,
wild
I
pig.
see.
And so if you think Arkansas, think Razorback and go Hogs. So that's
Hope
where, yeah, go
hope
Hogs.
Doc, I hope I can also land a job in Arkansas, if ever,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
there be a chance.
Yeah, but if you end up in Arkansas, it's handy because I can travel anywhere in 4 hours in Arkansas.
Yes.
But if you end up in another state, I'll still help you. I'll still help
Thank
you.
you very
And you can
much.
still
Thank you
call and you
very
can
much.
still
Thank you
email.
very much.
And if you want to fly in and come and stay at my house, you're welcome. I have a guest house.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you
my
very much for
husband
the
knows if
offer.
they're any of my
It's
international friends, whatever, they're welcome. Yeah. I have a very good husband that's been married to me for 35 years. So he knows, yeah, that's Merlina's buddies. Yeah.
I'm still young when you were already in the USA. You just mentioned that you were in the USA in 1987, and I was born in 1985. So I'm just
Thank you
only
for
2 years
making me
old
feel
at that
old.
that time. No, Doc Merlina.
No,
Only an age, but you still look like young
oh, nice catch. Not
and
nice.
energetic.
Well, thank you.
That is only the age. Like
Yeah, I
what you
think so.
said, age doesn't define us as long as
That's
we can
right.
do our work.
That's right. I still feel like I am a kid at heart anyway. So they, we were
Yes.
giggling and laughing and having a good time here. And although the security, was it the security guard last night said, you look like the one in Tar, or was it, what did you say? I was the what?
I forgot, but you look younger.
Yeah, I look younger. How old are you? You know, we were like saying, yeah, like, yeah, you sure you're 21? And I'm like, yeah, thank you so much. You know, yeah, they're just being silly. But
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
Doc.
who else wanna
Sawadee
say
kap,
something?
kapkun kap na, kapkun kap.
Yeah. Okay. What does that
Sawadee
mean?
kap, kapkun kap, kapkun kap. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It's a why. It's a cultural sign of respect for people. Say
Okay.
kapkun kap.
Well, good. Thank you. Here you say, bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Yeah. They
Thank
would
you,
do
Doc.
y'all. Yeah. You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Doc.
Anybody else last
This is a
comment?
this is really a nice conversation with you, and
Oh, good.
I learned a lot from your sharing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, make sure that I will send you a link to all the past videos. In the past videos, we actually talked about cultural differences between the American kids and, you know, the other cultures, especially Filipinos. I know there will be some similarities to the Latin culture with us. I think we had a lot of
Yes.
influence from the Latin culture because they were in the Philippines for 333 years. So a lot of times it's very similar, you know, now how you look down and you don't look at people in the eye because that's like rude. You know, we believe that. And in America is the opposite. You have to look at people in the eye or else you're being rude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same here, Doc Merlina, in Thailand. You cannot touch the head of the students.
Really?
It's a big no. Yes.
Really?
Because they consider the head as the sacred part of your body.
Wow, that's a good learning for us. We didn't even know.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
you are not allowed to touch that one.
okay, well, like here, because I'm so short, I'm only 4'10", and so the students would be like, you know, like putting their hand over here, putting my, you know, oh, Dr. McCullough, you're so short. I'm saying, you're not doing that. That's rude to me. You know, but
yes, that's very rude.
To me, but some people just think that was cool. You know, today we were at Leslie's school and this librarian was introducing herself to us and the student was just like putting, you know, finger like this. And I'm like, oh, that's not going to go with me. But it's a preference thing. You know, I always believe in teaching, but not touching. Teach, but no touch, you know? So anyway, kindergarten, that's a different story. They're going to try to hug you. Anyway.
And also when we are teaching, it should not be just only in a theory. It should be strike the heart of the student.
Yeah, I think so. Always
not only the mind.
That's right.
Yeah.
You always do the impact. I always say, okay, this is important to you because you always need to do the so what part of it, because your brain then would tune to it because you told them this is going to be relevant to you because, and then, you know, I think every lesson should start with that. Because some students would say, why do we have to learn history? Why do you have to learn math? You know, all that. So you have to explain, or science. You have to explain the connection. This is why it's important for you, because this. And I do that. I think it's automatic for me now when I do a lesson. You know, you have to pay attention to this because when you do this, you know, and I think I catch myself as a mother doing that, because Jet would always say, I know, Mom, you always say why. And I said, yes, Claire, but that is good practice because I want you to be aware, you know, because if you do not do the so what part, then the brain's going to put it in the short-term retention and, you know, the memory instead of the long-term memory, and they were just going to delete it. So you have to tell the brain, this is why it's important, the so what part of it. Yeah. So good point there.
Thank you very much, Doc.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anybody else with a proposal? Since we have all this on this fourth video. Okay, there's somebody, Rhea. Are you raising your hand? I just forgot to turn it off. So we need to unmute you. Rhea? You know, okay, go ahead. Yeah, Rhea, talk to us, please. In my past videos, I was noticing myself doing this because I can't see. So now I'm like, I need to just grab my glasses. I cannot see. It's so embarrassing. But anyway, so Rhea, what were you saying? We still have audio problems with you, I think.
I think Rhea has an audio problem.
Audio problems. Okay. So so Layla, what is up with you right now? Where are you on the process?
Yesterday, ma'am, Doc Merlina, I have an interview with Auckland Family Services, and they want me to be there within 2 weeks. Oh, I said no, that is very impossible because J1 is out and only H1B visa is available. But they say that they are going to look for an alternative on that. So I'm looking forward for it, and I will have another interview tomorrow with on a special education school.
Well,
That
good.
is 9:30 in the. But I would like to ask Doc Marine, how about I applied for a behavioral interventionist? Is it
That's good.
a good?
Yes, because there's not very many of that here. So if you do that, that's a really good thing to do. In fact, they were asking me, do you have this license? I'm like, nope, I don't. Because it usually comes along with the special ed, because and I don't have a special ed degree, so I don't have that. But if you have it, that's really good for you. Okay.
So that was in Vermont.
Okay. But what you can do though is if they're doing H1B visa, you cannot say it's impossible, because you need to tell them if you pay the $22,500 premium processing, you'll know the result within 2 weeks, because they have to if you pay the $2,500. So your answer to that school should be, do you have the funds to pay for the premium processing, because you will know the result within 2 weeks.
So they have initially interviewed me last Tuesday, and this coming Tuesday, the HR, I think, we're going to have another interview on the visa process, and I'm praying for that.
Yeah. And if you need my help, just let me know, patch me in. Just say, can we Zoom with Dr. McCullough? And I could advise.
Yeah, I have told them that.
Yeah, I could advise them, because a lot of times, because it's their first time, they're so they're so afraid of the paperwork. So for example, my meeting with Ms. Mills today, Merlina, I'm not going to send anything until you see it, I want you to see it, because I don't want to mess up. And I'm like, because it's her first time. So by the time we finish with these 4 people, the others will be easy, because she'll know what to do. And so, but she didn't want to mess up on for example, an H1B visa, how you could mess up is you have to put down there that your start date has to be after October 1. Okay, so you cannot put a date before October 1. And then another thing that you could mess up is you might, if you put an online application, so you're in, because it's a kind of lottery, and then your school also put you in a different account, so it'll be 2 accounts for you. It's like cheating, because here they are, everybody's got 1 chance and you have 2 chances. So then your application becomes invalid for that year. So you are not even going to be considered. So make sure there's no duplication. Okay. So if you do it, then you need to share that information with the school, and they need to go from that. Do not create another one. Okay. So it's a big no-no to have another account with the immigration. Okay. So that's a big no-no. So October 1, after October 1, and then 1 account. Okay, I read about that. I'm like, ooh, that's why I told Mike. I said, Mike, you do not need to make an account, and then Miss Mills.
Yes, Doc.
You will not be able to come this year.
Yes, Doc. Yesterday, I mentioned that to Miss Mills, and what we told her, we're going to give to her the application number that we had, so that that will be the application number she will open, so that she can continue the application.
That's right. That's exactly what you do. Because
and also I shared the sample I downloaded in the internet, the sample DS 120. Yeah, 2016.
16.
Not 2016. Yeah.
I think 19 is J1 visa, and I think
J1, yes,
but
yes.
is 2016. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
and that will be her reference for to us.
Yeah, she knows, and she's waiting for me, our meeting today, so I need to end this because she's waiting for me. Anyway, so anybody else that want to speak, because we just have to finish this. If we end up with this, I'm not coming back after this. So if you have anything wrapping up to say, you had to say it now.
No.
Yeah.
May I?
Yes, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Doc Merlina, good morning. I've been waiting for emails, but I didn't receive any.
About what? For interview?
Interview.
Well,
probably.
after my meeting with this,
wait.
After my meeting with this Department of Education people, I'm suspecting that you're gonna get a lot of of interview emails to a lot of you guys, because they're gonna spread your names all over the state.
Thank you very much.
And if it comes from the Department of Ed, they're gonna pay attention to it, because
Yes, thank you.
they read the memo every day. So if it's gonna be part of the memo, they're gonna have to read it, every one of them, because that's part of the things that you do here as an administrator. The first thing you do is open the commissioner's memo and you read
Yes.
about what's out there. So everybody will have to read it, you know. And so
Doc
that's
Merlina,
another advantage.
yes. My wife sent her cover letter and her resume or the CV I think this week. So I don't know if you
I've not, I
already-
have been traveling, so I have not been checking my
Oh,
email.
it's okay. So she would like to join the meeting, but she's not feeling well. We just had
Oh.
our second dose vaccine
Oh,
today.
okay. Oh, poor thing. I'm sorry. Tell her I hope she feels better soon. That's
Yes.
rough. I remembered having like kind of fever feeling, you know, when I had mine. So did you already the second one or the booster? You doing the booster?
Booster second round. I
Yeah.
could hardly raise
Lift
my
them
heel.
I remember that. I feel like somebody put a metal, like a very heavy metal on my arm. Yeah. I know exactly what she's feeling. Yeah. So the rest of you, if you haven't done that, you need to make sure you are vaccinated. I don't know now, but I know at one time you cannot even travel to the US without one, but I think the CDC had changed that. So maybe it's okay, but at one time it was not okay. Like if you don't have any your vaccination card, they will look at that when you travel. But I don't know now. I'm not very up to date on what the latest one. I just know about a month or two ago that they were actually looking for those cards. We actually have
So-
some people that is a political issue here, like the people that are supporting Trump, for example, and we know a lot of those, and the Republican side, they're really against, some of them are really against vaccination. And so one of them, like my stepson, he's like, man, I'm not gonna travel anymore if they're gonna want vaccination card, because I am not gonna be vaccinated. And so that's a choice. But the thing is, if it's gonna stop you from coming here, it's a choice you make, you know.
Yes.
I do not know what the restrictions are, you know, depending on if there's still a lot of COVID, you know, variation here or not. Sounds like monkeypox is the new thing that they're worried about. But anyway, but so yeah, so that's a good topic there to know that if you don't have, if not been vaccinated, you might want to think about that, or research about the airlines and what the requirements are, because it's going to be on their website. So then you can see what the requirements are, because that takes time. You do not just get all the shots together. You have to wait so many months, you know, get the
Yes.
second one, wait for a few months. So if you're going to plan ahead, you need to get started. If you want to teach here this year, for example, you better get started with that. But then
Doc,
research first. Mhm.
Doc, excuse me. Doc,
Mhm.
I had already 5 shots.
You're good then. Frederick, you're good.
Because here in Thailand, Doc, that they required all teachers to get their boosters and vaccination.
Yeah. Well,
And
yeah.
the first 2 shot I got Sinovac, and
Mhm.
then the third one I got AstraZeneca. The
Who's
fourth
that?
and the fifth is Pfizer.
Okay.
So
Yeah, Pfizer. I think mine was Moderna. I did Moderna, but yeah, but any of them I think is good if they've been approved. And but I would encourage you to research, because I do not ever want to force anybody, you know, to do it. But I want you to just do your research about the airlines that you're going to use, and then see what the requirements are. Then go from there, because yeah, schools are not.
that's why, Doc, that's why, Doc, it's, I think I can enter USA now, because I had 5 backs. I have 5 shots.
Good. Yeah, if you
Here in the
already-
Philippines, Doc, we have only 3 vaccines. That the third one is the booster only. Is that correct, Sir Eldin?
Ma'am Leila, I have also 5.
Okay.
4 from
Really?
from Pfizer. The first booster is Moderna, and today it's Pfizer again.
Okay, I have 4. I did not get my my 5th one yet, but because I just keep forgetting. But I can do it. It's 5 minutes for me is where the office is. I need to just take the time to do it. But I just know I'm okay to travel. even though I didn't get my fifth one. I know I'm okay because I have the card, and they just want the date and so on. Because in the US right now, the cards are now in centralized areas, so they can actually go to a website and they could check if that card is fake or not. And so, yeah, so they'll know. Okay. All right. So anybody else, last minute thing that you want to talk, you want to speak?
Doc Merlina,
Yes.
can we update our cover letter and resume?
Yes.
Can
Send
we
me
still update it?
any update that you want. Anytime you want to update it, just send it to me. And what I do is I will replace the old one and you'll have the new one. So anytime you want to, sometimes you know better, you learn better, and you change it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, change it, because I'm telling you, it makes a difference. The cover letter especially. So do not share on your cover letter things that doesn't relate to what you're applying. Those are extra information you don't need. Okay, stick with whatever. Yeah, match it.
Related to the question of Ma'am Leila about the cover letter, will that be generic? I mean, to whom it may concern, or to whom this may concern?
Oh, good question. I've been telling everybody to put dear superintendent, principal, HR and or hiring committee, because those are the different ways. Sometimes it's being interviewed by superintendent, so you got it covered. Sometimes it's the principal, sometimes it's the HR, like Miss Mills is the HR, and then sometimes it's a hiring committee, a bunch of teachers in there and so on. So I would cover it all: superintendent, principals, HR, and or hiring committee. I would cover all four
to
formats.
revise our
Yeah.
our cover letter this time.
Yeah, to me, to whom it may concern, it sounds kind of cold. I mean, like, it's not really for them. Like, if you put those, then it's going to be one of those bunch that would interview.
Okay.
So you got it covered.
So the superintendent, principal, and the HR.
Yeah. And then if you know exactly the person, then you start changing those to specific names. So if you know
that's what I'm doing.
Dr.
Actually,
Smith, go ahead and send them. Like, I know you sent me one with the generic, all of those, but then when you get an interview, go ahead and send them one to the person that contacted you. And that way it's more personalized for you. That's what I would do. Because right now, what they see from my list would be that generalized thing that I just shared with you. Okay, so make it anytime that you can personalize it with a specific name, it's always good. It's always good. Because when I was administrator, I would look at this application and I'm like, I don't know if I want this person. It's like not even have the details to like pay attention to who's going to be interviewing and not putting our names there to whom it may concern. I guess I'm allergic to that. I didn't like it. But it's a preference thing.
Good that you mentioned that.
It's a preference thing. It
change it tonight.
It did not feel like it's for us. In my experience, it's never just me. It's always like a committee. And so then if you did what, the committee, then okay, they're writing to us. It's going to be one of those formats. Okay. Yeah. In the bigger the school, the more committee things that they do. And the smaller the school, the more hands-on your principal and your superintendent would be. Especially the smaller school, they would just do superintendent. And sometimes it's a combination of superintendent and principal. Okay, then the bigger the school, then they start bringing other people in. My sister, for some reason, is always in an interview committee. I said, hey, you want to go shopping, summer? Oh, no, I'm a part of an interview committee. We're interviewing teachers. I'm like, they don't get paid for that. But she said she enjoys it. She enjoys listening to the interview. And one time she was in a committee where they have to interview her. They're going to be their boss. The new principal. She said, that was kind of weird, that we're interviewing the people that's going to be, supervising us. Sometimes it happens. They ask you to, to be a part of it, which is good. In one of the bigger schools I worked in as administrator, we had like so many levels. Like we had, when we did superintendent, we had like the classified group, we had the assistant principal, we had the principal, and we had a lot of different levels. And the people that gets to the top, it's going to get lesser and lesser and lesser. So the first time they might do the top 5, and the next time that they might do the top 3. And then if they have a third one, they said, okay, we need to down the top 2, and then we're going to recommend this. and then see if, we want this teacher, but see, you have another choice if you'd rather have the other one. But a lot of times they actually would just go with the recommendation of the principal or superintendent. They don't like, overrule it. But there are a few that would just kind of, if they don't get along, like sometimes the superintendent, does not get along with their school board. The school board would say, let's not go with that recommendation. Let's go to the other one. So there's never a sure thing until they say it's been approved by the board. That is not a sure thing until you hear that, because once you approve by the board, then that's kind of it, because the board already said, yes, we'll hire this person. That's why you already are in the list, Mike and everybody, because that's been approved by the board. Okay. Good point there. Okay. So anybody else? And I love that these points that you're making, because I could never have thought of those questions until you asked, and then we can elaborate. And I like that when it's very organic and flowing, like I don't really have a fix, I would say things like strategy, or I would say things like just answering their questions in my mind. That's what my, in my mind would be the agenda, because you never know who's attending and you never know what questions will come up. And I don't know everything. A lot of times I was driving and I'm like, can you Google this? Because I don't know the answer to this. And they would be Googling, all their new phones. They have all iPhone 13 there in my car. And I'm like, wow. So they were Googling things because we don't know all the answers. And if you pretend that you all know, then you're fake, If you're authentic, you're going to say, I don't know everything. I don't, But I would just say, I'm smarter than I look.
So Doc Merlina, Doc Merlina, when
Uh-huh.
are you going to operate your office so that we can apply as your secretary for the teachers that are going to help?
No, I can't afford that. Pretty much myself. Yeah. No, in America, you can hardly afford to hire just an assistant. You have pretty much to do it yourself or have a relative, because you can. Some of the businesses here, they're closing because if you have to hire somebody, you have to pay them at least $10, $12, $13, $15 an hour, depending on the job, each hour. So whether you sell something or not, you're paying this person more than $100 a day. You cannot sustain that if you're not going to make that much money. All your income would just go to that person. When I had a store in town, I hired my mom, and my mom and I was like, Mom, we're going to split the profit. Whatever you sell, we're going to split it, Mom. And so then I don't have to be out like, that I have to pay my mom $100 some. I just said, Mom, if you sell 100, you keep 50, I get 50. We kind of did it that way, but Mom is such a good sales lady that she would do $1,000 day. So she got 500, so especially if we have new items, new things coming in. But yeah, so that's a good point about the labor here, Leila, it's really high. It's really expensive. So people cannot afford, some of my doctor friends, even like medical doctors, they're closing their offices because they cannot afford to just have their nurses or the office, office manager. They're sitting there and not much patients, patients coming in. So they are actually cutting, like my sister is in Dallas, is a nurse and office manager. So she now works half part-time for her former boss because she didn't want to be in person. She just wanted to be online. And so they said, well, we still want you to be office manager. You're still going to be talking to all these 2 or 3 different nurses because they don't know what they're doing, but we are kind of asking you to still run it from home. And so they're paying her half, but then she worked for somebody else for a whole full-time. So she's in a full-time and a half. So she will just do like, half of her day. And then she would, because they have to account for that. They have to, to be working and have productivity. And also, they have the hours there and so on. So you can't cheat them, they have accountability. Yeah. And so the online teaching is very popular now. So it's very popular. So what you do is like, I think my friend Lisa, she said, well, we have to have office hours. That means that you have to answer students' questions, but then we only have to have a meet, like a Zoom meet with our students twice a week. So they do like Tuesday and Thursday, they meet with them, but then the rest of the time they're just giving assignments and they're doing it and you're checking and you're giving them feedback. A lot of times they do like most classrooms here have Google Classroom. So if you're not familiar with Google Classroom, you may want to Google that. Google Classroom 101, there's like a video showing you, go ahead and create an account for you. And when I do workshops, I actually have a Google Classroom for that workshop. And in that way, I can always go back to that workshop. Okay, what did they say about this? So I have my Google Classroom on the different topics that I'm doing. So I would recommend that you practice with that with your students now, so that by the time you come to the US, then you would be familiar with Google Classroom, because it's very commonly used here. Very commonly. If you're not familiar with the Google Suite, all the Google things, Google Sheet, Google, Google Slide, Google Form, and so on, be familiar with those, because it's very commonly